All right, so this is awesome. Let me share this with you. This is in Politico. Alarm bell. Dr. Oz's struggles have GOP pitching alternate path to Senate takeover. Republican officials outlined the Oz campaign's polling and financial troubles in recent meetings, emphasizing that they can still win in the Senate without Pennsylvania. So they're panicking. They're panicking because Dr. Oz is shitting the splunky in his race with Fetterman. Here's what they say. The GOP establishment is feeling down on Dr. Oz. The Senate Republicans' campaign arm is privately sounding the alarm about physician Mehmet Oz's bid for the Senate in the critical battleground state of Pennsylvania, while telling donors that the party still has a path to winning the majority without the state. The National Republican Senatorial Committee raised concerns about Oz's lackluster polling and fundraising on at least 3 separate occasions in recent weeks, multiple sources told Politico. On a donor call last week that focused on Senate races throughout the country, NRSC officials discussed Oz's poor performance in polls, including high unfavorability ratings, said a person on the call. It was an alarm bell, the person said, adding that Oz's poor image among voters is really freaking everybody out. On the call, NRSC officials sought to calm nerves and assure financial backers that Republicans could still take back the Senate majority even without an Oz victory. The GOP only needs to unseat one Democrat this fall in order to win the Senate, which is currently split 50-50. But Republicans also must defend other crucial swing states such as Wisconsin and North Carolina while trying to flip the likes of Arizona, Georgia, Nevada, and New Hampshire. Failing to hold on to retiring Republican Senator Pat Toomey's seat in Pennsylvania would be a major blow to the party. The NRSC officials on the call brought to everyone's attention that there's definitely a path to winning the Senate, even if Oz loses, and that seemed to be a very big concern on the call, is that Oz just has not hit his stride as a candidate. The person on the call last week said, the viewpoint was it's more important to reallocate money to seats that we feel we can win. Whoa. It looks like they might be pulling the ripcord on Dr. Oz. In other words, you ain't going to keep getting the money, dog, because you're not showing us any signs of life. Wow. Oz has been consistently trailing Democratic Senate nominee John Fetterman in public polls, including most dramatically by 11 percentage points in a Fox News survey released this week. Oz's challenges come despite his opponent's own troubles as well as Republicans' favorable political environment across the nation. In May, Fetterman suffered a stroke. He has not held a public event since then. And though he recently said he is 100% able to run, it's not yet clear how vigorously he will be able to campaign. During a separate call with donors in mid-July, while discussing Oz's anemic fundraising and poor polling numbers, or poor polling performance, an NRSC official again worked to ease the minds of contributors and argued that Republicans could win back the Senate without Pennsylvania if necessary. Quote, we have a path with Pennsylvania, and don't worry, we have a path without Pennsylvania. An NRSC official said on the mid-July call, according to another person who participated in the call. In a statement to Politico, NRSC spokesman Chris Hartline maintained that the committee is committed to the Pennsylvania race. After the story published, Hartline disputed comments attributed to the NRSC staff, saying any implication that we don't have full confidence in the Oz campaign and our chances of winning Pennsylvania is false. Okay, so a little bit of a contradiction there. You got some people saying, look, he's showing no signs of life. We should send the money to races where people actually have a chance. And you got others internally saying, no, we support Dr. Oz still fully, and he's got a great chance to win, etc. I mean, I don't know, but just know now the conversation is happening behind the scenes. Should we abandon him? Now, understand something. This is similar to what happened in the primary in Pennsylvania, where the Democratic establishment saw no signs of life from Conor Lamb. He was the more right-wing Democrat, and they pulled out, and they were like, you're on your own. And then Fetterman draxed them's clowns when it came to Conor Lamb. And so it's possible we get to a place where the polls have shown Fetterman up so much for so long that the Republican establishment pulls support from Oz, in which case that would be the death blow to Oz's campaign, and Fetterman would easily win. So, look, I hope it's true. But there's also more to be said about this in terms of strategy. Here you have a political environment that should be favorable to Republicans. That's shifting a little bit now because of Roe versus Wade and the January 6th stuff and the stuff on gay marriage and contraception. But still, nationally, it should be a very favorable environment for Republicans. And Fetterman is beating those odds. Why? Well, you got to study Fetterman's campaign. You got to look at what he's doing. You have to soak it in and adjust accordingly moving forward because what he's doing is working. He's hitting Dr. Oz as a carpetbagger and an elitist outsider, an ultra-wealthy outsider who doesn't represent working people. And he's hammering him, and he's hammering him on that. And Fetterman's also a guy who looks like an everyday person, a working dude. And there's a lesson in that for people. the smug elitism of the Democratic Party has to go. The acting like a professor and looking down your nose at people has to go. Just, embracing normie-dom while at the same time embracing, like edgy comedy and poking fun at them and having a good time on the campaign trail while talking about working class issues. That's where it's at, man. And he's one of the only Democratic politicians in the country doing it. Now, he has downsides. He has blind spots. There's no doubt about that. But he's much better than Conor Lamb, who he defeated in the primary. And he's obviously much better than Dr. Oz. And so, if he ends up winning, there's a lot to learn from him. The big question will be this. Dr. Oz can still win. The big question is, what happens with the economy moving forward? How bad does the environment become for Democrats? Because the Democrats might be peaking a little bit too early right now. There's some polls that have Democrats up now about 6 points in the midterms. But I think a lot of that is, again, because of Roe versus Wade. That was overturned. January 6th, which is hammering Trump and, by extension, Republicans. And then, again, 157 Republicans voting against gay marriage, 195 voting against right to contraception. So they're looking terrible now. Also, now we know they blocked the health care for veterans who were exposed to toxic burn pits. All these negative things about Republicans are accumulating, but you got to hope that this peaking didn't happen too early for the Democrats. So in other words, if we still have more inflation, a recession, unemployment goes up, wages go down, or whatever, the market crashes. If any of these things happen from now until the election, which is very possible, if not likely, then it might swing right back to Republicans winning massively. And in that case, Fetterman could lose, even though he would lose by a smaller margin than what other Democrats would lose by. So there's a lot that's out of our control here, but in terms of the signs behind the scenes, it's a great one that the Republicans are like abandoning Dr. Oz, or might be abandoning Dr. Oz. To that I say, yummy in my tummy. Ever since Adpocalypse, when YouTube defunded all independent news and politics overnight, we haven't trusted them. We know they can pull the rug out from underneath us at any time. If you enjoy this content, please consider tipping $1 or $2 per month on the Secular Talk Patreon. Link in the video description box below. Thanks for your support.